Senator Natalia Reid, a respected state senator, had just stopped by the mall to pick up a few essentials after her weekly visit to her mother. As she walked toward her car, she didn't notice the police cruiser pulling into the parking lot behind her. Officer Laura Mitchell, a seasoned cop known for her strict discipline, was on her routine patrol when she spotted Natalia. Something about the scene struck her as suspicious. A black woman walking through a mostly empty parking lot, glancing at car windows, seemingly lost in thought. "What's her deal?" Laura muttered to herself. She pulled over, stepped out of the car and walked briskly toward Natalia. Her hand hovered near her belt, fingers resting dangerously close to her firearm. She had no idea who Natalia was. To her, she was just another civilian. "Excuse me, ma'am," Laura said in a firm, no-nonsense tone. Natalia turned, startled by the officer's sudden presence. "Yes, officer?" "Is there a problem?" "What are you doing here?" Laura asked, her voice sharp. Natalia blinked in confusion. "I'm just loading my groceries into my car." "Let me see some ID," Laura said, her expression unmoved. She tapped her fingers impatiently against her belt. Natalia felt her heart rate pick up, but kept her face composed. "Is there a reason for this, officer?" "I haven't done anything wrong." Laura's jaw tightened. "Just show me your ID, ma'am." "I'll decide that." With a quiet sigh, Natalia reached into her purse, pulled out her wallet, and handed over her driver's license. Laura snatched it from her hand and studied it carefully. "Senator Natalia Reid," Laura muttered, raising an eyebrow. "Never heard of you," Natalia responded patiently. "I'm a state senator. I represent District 8. But Laura didn't care. She glanced at the ID once more before slipping it into her pocket as if collecting evidence. "I don't care who you are, Senator. Something about you being here just doesn't sit right with me." Natalia stared at her in disbelief. "Officer, this is a public shopping centre. I have just as much right to be here as anyone else." Laura crossed her arms and stepped in front of Natalia's car, blocking her path. "You can explain that down at the station. You're coming with me." Natalia's protests fell on deaf ears. Laura led her to the back of the patrol car, ignoring all her questions and requests to speak with an attorney. Bystanders watched in confusion, their faces a mix of curiosity and unease, wondering what a well-dressed woman like her could have possibly done. Laura, as focused as ever, drove in silence, eyes locked on the road, determined to take her suspect to the station. Natalia sat quietly in the back seat, taking deep breaths to stay composed. She knew she'd be released soon. There was absolutely nothing to hold her on. But the frustration of the situation was undeniable. When they arrived at the station, Laura parked the car and escorted Natalia inside. As Natalia was led through the hallway, she passed several officers and detectives working at their desks. Some glanced up, whispering amongst themselves, wondering why a state senator was in handcuffs. Laura ignored the stares and brought Natalia into a small, plain interrogation room. Inside, there was nothing but a metal table and a few chairs. "Wait here," Laura ordered curtly before slamming the door shut behind her. Natalia was left alone. The wait felt like hours, though in reality, only a few minutes had passed before Captain Jordan Pierce walked in. He was a tall, middle-aged man with a firm stance but a calm, approachable demeanor. He had just been informed of Natalia's arrest and was already questioning the reasoning behind it. "Senator Reid, I'm Captain Pierce," he said, extending his hand. "I sincerely apologize for this inconvenience." Natalia appreciated the courtesy and shook his hand. "Thank you, Captain. Can someone explain to me why I was arrested?" Pierce frowned as he flipped through the hastily written report Laura had submitted. As he scanned the pages, his expression hardened. "According to Officer Mitchell's report, she claims you were behaving suspiciously in a parking lot." Natalia raised an eyebrow. "Suspicious? I was grocery shopping. Since when is that a crime?" Pierce shook his head, his face showing clear disapproval. "It's not, Ma'am. This doesn't make any sense." Just then, the door swung open and Laura barged in, unaware that Pierce was already speaking with Natalia. "Here's her ID, Captain," she said confidently. She was roaming the parking lot like she owned the place. Pierce turned to her, narrowing his eyes. "Officer Mitchell, do you have any idea who you just arrested?" Laura's confident expression wavered. "Who?" she asked, her voice unsteady. Pierce clenched his jaw. "This is Senator Natalia Reid, one of the most respected leaders in our state. Did you even bother verifying her identity?" Laura's face instantly drained of color. I didn't know," she stammered. Pierce's tone turned sharp. "You should have taken her ID seriously, officer. You abused your authority without cause." His words echoed in the small room as Laura stood there, struggling to process what she had just done. She had assumed this was just another routine detainment. She hadn't expected it to blow up like this. "Captain, she started, but Pierce cut her off with a hard glare. "You crossed the line, officer. This was pure harassment." Pierce warned Laura that she was facing serious consequences. Natalia stood up, her voice calm but firm. "Captain, I'm willing to let this go, but I want to hear an explanation from Officer Mitchell. I think I at least deserve that." Laura shifted uncomfortably, unable to meet Natalia's eyes. I thought you were someone else," she mumbled, her confidence fading fast. Pierce shook his head. "You made an arrest based on assumptions. That's not how we operate in this department, officer." By now, a small group of officers had gathered outside the door, drawn in by the unfolding drama. Whispers spread quickly, and within moments, news of what had happened was everywhere. Laura could feel her reputation crumbling, her career slipping through her fingers. Finally, Pierce spoke with a decisive tone. "Officer Mitchell, I have no choice but to place you on administrative leave, pending an investigation." Laura's face turned bright red, but she remained silent. She knew arguing would only make things worse. As Natalia left the station, Laura sat alone in the small room. Her badge had been taken away, her pride shattered. She hadn't realized how biased her actions had been in the moment, but now she understood. This was true justice. She wouldn't be remembered as a disciplined officer anymore, only as the cop who lost everything over an unjust arrest. And with that, we reach the end of our story. Thank you for watching until the very end. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to watch more engaging stories. Have a great day.